Hoi there everyone! This is FatesFanboy speaking, and welcome back to another episode of Inazuma 11 GO Strikers. Episode 13, we've arrived at the final match of the second world map, and that is going to be against no other than Rococo and his team, the little Gigants. He has been absent from the International All-Stars in this game, but for a good reason, namely that his national team got their own spotlight in this game, I suppose. So that is going to be a match to look forward to. None of their players are anything to scoff at, so we are going to try our hardest to get another title under our belt, namely of World Champions now. So, last episode was now 2 weeks ago by this point. Last week I didn't have the opportunity to record another episode, regrettably, but I did have that new multi-language video ready for you, so I hope you enjoyed that. It was on Gungnir as performed by Dvalin or Desarm, and if you haven't checked it out yet, go ahead and click the card in the top right. It'll lead you right there, and I promise you have a good time. At least if you like the anime, I suppose. And speaking of that, while you're at it, you might as well drop a subscribe if you're feeling generous today, you know? I'm trying my best to get these videos out at a consistent rate. You know, get one Strikers video out per week ideally, and some multi-language videos scattered around when I have time, as well as some other franchises, Fire Emblem Heroes most notably. So if that by chance interests you as well, go ahead, check me out, drop a subscribe, and I will greatly appreciate all the support you can give me. But then, with that shilling out of the way, we are going to go over the changes in our team, because I haven't sat still. No. I never sit still in these periods. Well, I've been promising you guys to get Supernova, Space Penguin, Dark Phoenix, all these co-op moves for like 5 weeks straight now. But I am happy to say that I have finally got my hands on 2 co-op moves. 2 of those 3 I mentioned. And those are none other than, of course, the Alias co-op moves. Most notably we have on Zine here, Supernova, and would you look at that, it only costs 30 TP. 30 TP for a co-op move. That's ludicrous. It's absolutely insane. That's half the cost of Tenku Otoshi, while being a level higher, technically. So that is something we're going to abuse when given the opportunity. And then we also had another co-op move that came along with unlocking Supernova, namely Space Penguin on Bellatrix here, which also costs 30 TP, I now realize, which is, again, insane. Why would you make a co-op move, like a 3-player co-op move, cost less TP than like a level 2 shot? Literally Astro Break versus Space Penguin here. But oh well, I'm not the one who designed this game, so I guess I'll just abide by their whims. You won't hear me complaining, honestly. And yeah, that basically marks everything I did over this past period. You won't believe how long it took me to actually unlock these moves. Like, when you go for a 2-player co-op move, sure, you only need to train like 2 players friendship, right? When you're going for a 3-way co-op move, you basically need to get 3 bonds, up to 100% in this case. You need to get the bond between Zine and Wits to 100%, you need to get the bond between Zine and Bellatrix to 100%, and then you also need to get the bond between Wits and Bellatrix to 100%. And like, you can grind it out, which I have done in the training center. I've literally just kicked a ball against a tree for like 2 hours straight, and I could get like a singular 100% bond. But yeah, that already illustrates my point. It took me like 2 hours to get 1 bond up to 100%, which is pretty crazy if you ask me. And that just goes to show my peerless dedication to this run, I suppose, if you want to give a good spin to it. Then that is definitely the end of my undertakings, I suppose. And with that, we are going to move right back to the scout menu, because, oh, look at that. Look at those tasty 1100 points. We are going to eat good today, boys. And we are going to start that off by recruiting this guy, Waynel, from the Dark Angels, as per Lucas's request. Has been watching the series from the very start, but has admitted to me that he has absolutely no clue what's going on. And you know what, Lucas? That's perfectly fine. Also, dankjewel jongeman. Waynel gaat het goed doen in het team. Little bit of an homage to the Dutchy squad. But yeah, we're going to pick up Waynel. Pretty solid midfielder, honestly. Nothing to really complain about. He has Angel Ball and he has Snow Angel. So he's going to be a very flexible midfielder on top of Gael, who we recruited at the end of last episode. So, what are we going to do to shake the team up this time? That is a very good question, Fates. What are we going to do? Well, first of all, we're going to take out Kevin, I want to say, and then I'm going to bring back someone who we haven't used in a bit. And who would that be, you ask? I have no clue. Turner. Sure, whatever. We'll go with Turner. And actually, you know what? Fuck it. We're just going to throw in... we're going to throw Hill Valley back in. And considering we've taken out Max, we might as well take out Steve. We're going to bring Kane into the field. Sure, whatever. Let's make it a little bit more spicy in this championship match, shall we? So then, what is our formation going to look like exactly? Well, friends, I'm going to tell you exactly that. We are going to put Gazelle on the front lines in the center. Then we are going to place Reynol on the midfield here instead of Afrodi. And we are going to not put in King because these guys from the Little Gigants, they have some pretty potent shots in their arsenal, so I don't want to risk anything going into this match. And then I guess Kane is technically a defender, so sure, let's put him in. Let's entertain his original position. I think this should be a solid setup for this upcoming match. We have a dual center defense with Hawkins and Nathan, who can both block shots. And then we have some less potent but still useful defenders on the sides. We have Rusty and Kane, who can both use shots from their defending position. And then we have Witz, who has Sabaki no Tatsui, so he can also block shots if need be. Reynol and Gael will put up an angelic offense, if you'll excuse the pun. And then we have Bellatrix, Gazelle and Zine to put the pressure on Rococo. So, let's see how we fare. I'm going to jump straight back into Liocott Island for what is going to be the ultimate championship match. Liocott Island, once more, back for more. We are going to check out the championship match against Little Gigants. Rococo is anxiously awaiting our arrival, and we are of course not going to keep him waiting. First 4-shield team of this route, I do believe, but we are in for a treat with this one, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to check out exactly what they're capable of. Alright, so then we have set our team. As has been customary for the last few episodes, I will check out the enemy team for a bit. And as you can see, this is just... yeah, these are the Little Gigants, pure and simple. They didn't even try to put in any different players, no, they straight up just pulled the team from the anime and said fuck it. We're going to put these guys in as the true final opponent of Liocott Island, as I think suits this map pretty well, as opposed to Orpheus. But you'll hear about that in a second, I imagine. But yeah, you will have to excuse me for not knowing any of these guys' names. I know Rococo and I know... no, I'm not even going to try. I know Rococo, that's where it ends. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to call these guys by their Raymond names, I suppose. Because if you hadn't noticed yet, if you're a bit slow to pick up on things, like me sometimes, these guys are all knockoffs of the original Rayman 11. Nathan, Jack, Mark, Jim, Todd, Max, Sam, Timmy, Steve, Axel, and Kevin. And then we have some guys from, I think, Rayman 2 in here. So Billy, I think it's Banyan, Kane, Frost, and LeChance, obviously. And these guys have pretty strong moves. Like, look at this, level 3, level 3, 2, 1. These guys are just a solid team all around. They have a strong offense, they have a tight defense with a blocking move in this guy who has Groundquake. And I believe this Nathan knockoff also comes with air bullets. And then, yeah, you basically don't have to worry about these guys because the AI is dumb and never switches. So, with our ragtag team now complete for this match, let's see how we do. Let's see if we can seize victory today and if we can conclusively wrap up the story for this map. Let's go. Shiai Kaishida. We are once more back in the Titanic Stadium. I think, at least. For what is going to be the championship match. And I'm trying to listen what music this is again. Not entirely sure if this is the music that was also playing in the anime episode. It sounds like it's just the burning phase theme, honestly. But then again, it has been quite a while and this theme is pretty universal in the anime as well as the games, I do believe. Right, that's good. Now, as you can see, Witz has grown considerably faster ever since I've been training him up to get Supernova and Space Penguin. Which I think might be due to the training, but I don't actually dare say if that's correct. I mean, I imagine it is, or maybe it's just my imagination playing tricks on me. But he does seem a bit faster than he was. And we have Zine at the ready for a Supernova already, nice. You have to look out for this Nathan guy, who's actually surprisingly quick on his feet. and who does have a level 3 defensive move, but here we go. Alright, Supernova. But there it is. Oh, such a good move. It's been translated so well to this game. Honestly, one of the better moves to be... one of the better translations, I should say, from the anime to the game, to this Strikers game. And, okay, that doesn't surprise me that he stopped me. Tamashi the Hand is very strong, aligns with Rococo's inherent fire element, so that gives him an extra boost as well. And we were at an elemental disadvantage, as it were, because Supernova is wood element. And Zine is tired out. I've been pushing his sprint a bit too much, it seems. Okay, let's get away from that guy, because he also has a defensive move. As well as this guy, Quill. No. Actually has Kagenui, okay. I believe this might be the only character in the game to have that move. Because that is originally a Shuriken Junior High move. Okay, this guy just has Fire Tornado. Yeah, like I said, I think that guy might be the only player in this game to have Kagenui. Because that's originally a Shuriken High move, and there's only one Shuriken player in this game, which is Sail. And he doesn't get any moves except... what does he get? Zanzor, I think? What is this Steve go... Shooting Star? Okay, okay, sure. I think I'm starting to see a bit of a trend here. Maybe, very tentatively. I think what's going on here is that these guys are modeled after the original Rayman 11 in design. But then in moves, I think they're designed after probably the Dark Empress versions of those guys. As suggested primarily by that Shooting Star, and by, as I mentioned fleetingly just now, that one of these guys, I think the Sam knockoff, has Fake Bomber, which Sam only gets access to in his Dark Empress version. But let's let another Supernova rip, and see if we can actually break through this time. Would be nice, would be very nice. Because we don't want to be at a stalemate for too long with these guys. I could have chained, it looked like. Okay, interesting. Don't know with whom, but... guess we might see in a split second if we... okay, we score! Let's go! No need to check for who we could chain with at all. That's good, that's good. That's one less thing to worry about now, at least short term. Okay, this is fine, this is just a Dragon Crash. Yep. Alright. Yeah, but that's my little hypothesis. I think these guys are based off the original 11 in design, but of the Dark Empress in movesets. So if anyone has like any insider info, please let me know. That is the best I've got at this point in time. Right, let's see then. We're going to not try to get caught by any of these guys, because they have surprisingly good stats. Or maybe it's again my imagination. These guys are really, really fast, especially as compared to my players, who have already seen some action, and who have most of them have already upgraded their blue bars. It's probably going to get blocked here, yeah, that's fine. Rococo is not a player to underestimate. He wasn't one of the strongest keepers in the anime for nothing. And I think this little guy has triple boost, I was going to say. But we're instead going to get caught by less cool Jim. No offense, but a lot of offense. Let's go Nathan, slay. Good. It's not great. Immediate retaliation. So yeah, this is the main problem with this team that you'll face. They have very big moves. Very big moves. Like, most of them have co-op shots, and most defenders have pretty wide-ranged defending moves. But I think if we play this correctly, we can pull off a Space Penguin here? Yes! Alright, now it's time for one of the stupidest looking moves in the game, in my opinion. It's just the way these penguins, like, kind of buzz around the ball in the second stage of the move. I don't know, it just bothers me. It's really static, this Penguins. But then again, I guess the Wii animations had limitations as well. And as long as we score, I am not complaining in the slightest. Absolutely not. Thank you very much, Bellatrix, for you and your stupid-looking move. Alright, that's 2-0. Respectable, respectable. We're keeping up a good defense, definitely playing wary enough to not let these guys through. Of course, always a bit of luck involved, but I would much rather accredit it to my excellent tactical insight. For example, I noticed that Rococo was out of TP, so I immediately capitalized on his mistake of using Tamashi the hand every time by firing a Northern Impact at point blank. And there you go, that's 3-0. Now, I made all of that up, those last 10 seconds. But then again, it made for a good story, didn't it? I think it did. And we need something to fill the time until the half point. Because after the half point, I think I might want to go into... How did both of you miss that? I know Waynel couldn't have blocked anyway, but Hawkins could have reached, come on. But yeah, after the break, I think I want to go into why I think this team actually did merit a separate representation in this game over Orpheus. But before that, I guess I will bring Kane up to the front again and not get absolutely murked by this Kevin knockoff. Now, I wonder if Rococo has his bar back. I can only imagine he does. Okay, he's going to flex on us by doing God Hand. Which I'm not entirely sure he had in the... Okay, let's go. Doesn't even matter. Literally doesn't matter. Let's go, Kane, my boy. He's actually paying off. Nice. I did not expect that to work out in the slightest. But, you know what? Fine. Fair enough. We're not going to get anything out of these last 5 seconds. Yeah, there's the whistle. Alright. So that means we're going to check up on our team real quick, and if there is nothing we need to replace or improve on, then I am going to go straight into why I think this team did actually deserve a separate representation. So I think Kane has well done his job. He's more than done his job, in fact. So I'm going to give him some rest, put Hill Valley in for some more Hill Valley representation. And then we are going to leave it like this, I do believe. I quite like this triangle structure I have going on, which is sometimes a bit slow to catch up to the action, but I think it should still suffice for the time being. So we're going to push on with our very favourable 4-0 lead. Quite a strategic marvel by me, I do dare say. Okay, but going into why I actually think the Little Gigants are a reasonable choice for a separate team in this game. I mean, it's a bit of a no-brainer, isn't it? When they're the final team of Season 3, well, I guess not counting Ogre, because they were technically in the movie and not in the anime, it kind of makes sense to make them their own team, right? Because you made Zeus their own team, you made Zine join up, yes, very good. I guess they didn't make Genesis their own team, but they did make Chaos their own team. They've had like a habit of making all the strongest teams from the various seasons into separate teams, but Rococo was simply shoved into the International All-Star and they called it a day. And that's 5-0, the illustrious 5-0. It returns in the championship match, nonetheless. This went way better than I could have expected, honestly. But yeah, they've had this habit of making the strongest teams into their own separate teams in this game, but then they kind of did Rococo a very, very big disservice by not making his own team into a separate team. And you are going to stop right there, Timmy. I do not want to have you pulling off any strange moves on me, especially not while fired up. And then let's see what we can do. It looks like Rococo is actually not going to put up too much resistance now that we have pelted him with too many shots for him to keep up. Is he still depleted, I wonder? If he is, okay, this is going to be a very easy match. That's kind of a letdown, actually. I had expected Rococo to be a bit more resolute, a bit more resistant, to our attacks, but I guess not. I guess that's just the bane of spamming Tamashi the Hand. Quite heartening to see, in all fact. Okay, is this a double fang? No, that's just a Dragon Crash. A true Dragon Crash. That is full right. We are going to spam our own Tamashi the Hand, but with no repercussions at all, because we have an energy ring. Go off, Peabody. Show him who the real Tamashi the Hand master is. You're not the pupil, you are the master. Veritably. And you know what? I'm just going to let Rusty rip and ramble on for a while. So, Little Gigants, final team of the 3rd season, and they were a banger. They were like a crazy good team, both to watch and to face, I imagine, for Raymond. And okay, he's just straight up returned my shot. That is perfectly fine. Actually, I won't take a risk. I quite like to stay, like, have a clean record against these guys, so I'll just use Magic the Hand, I suppose. But yeah, kind of surprising Little Gigants didn't have their own team in the first game. Like I said, they kind of shoved Rococo and... Is he called Walter? I swear he's called Walter. Walter Mountain or something. Okay, Witch just got killed, so I guess we'll just have to go with Astro Break. But they kind of put the Defender and Rococo in the International All-Stars, and they didn't really do anything else with them, even though they were the strongest team, literally, of the world, before Inazuma Japan came around. And, yeah, it just didn't make sense, honestly, why they wouldn't have their own team. Now, as opposed to Orpheus, who kind of didn't do anything in the story. Sure, they were a good team, and it resolved the whole story arc with Ray Dark. And it brought it to a satisfying end, I want to say too. But that shouldn't take away from the fact that they're like a far less important team for the actual season than the Little Gigants, who have been meticulously trained after Raymond by Mark's grandfather, nonetheless, to actually be as strong and even surpass the original Raymond. I believe, if I have my lore straight. It has admittedly been a while since I watched the final episodes of Season 3. They're not too widely available, I found, especially not in Dutch. Not that I like watching the episodes in Dutch anyway, but yeah, it has been a while. And I like how I do the exact same maneuver on literally every kickoff, and they never adapt. That is just the perfect example of AI. But yeah, you know what? I'm just going to regurgitate an argument I've made in a previous episode, and that is that if they had somehow managed to add tactics to this game, then Orpheus would have been a much more interesting team. A double shot? Oh. Okay. Dual strike. Yeah, that actually makes perfect sense. I just didn't think Timmy would have that. So that's going to be an easy Tamashi the Hand. I am not going to put Magic the Hand up against that. I don't think Timmy should have too great of a kicking stat anyway, so we should be fine. There we go, with Peabody the Goat. And then... yeah, I've regurgitated that if they had added tactics, Orpheus would have been considerably more interesting. Because they have their Catenaccio counter, which is... I want to say it's my favorite tactic from Season 3, but I also want to say it was just so greatly executed. Like, it was this technique that was culminated by Fideo applying Ray Dark's father's technique, actually. If you're still following me through that insanely long sentence. Sorry, that's a bad habit of mine. But, yeah, no, it just had a cool origin, had a cool execution, fantastic cutscene, as I've already showed off in a previous episode. And that would have really merited the Italian team to get their own team in Strikers, I feel. But that's all what-if scenarios. They didn't get tactics in this game, which makes it so that Orpheus realistically doesn't have a place as a full-blown team. And I think I retroactively also want to add on to that Italy wasn't even in the greatest state originally as a team, because they were very distrustful of their coach. Like literally half of their team was just beaten to a pulp by this other team devised by Ray Dark, I believe. Like the crystal-themed team, I don't really know what they're called again. But they literally had to call in help from like Mark, Stonewall, Jude and Sanford, I believe, to stop Ray Dark's team from becoming the new Italian representatives. Yeah, so Italy kind of a team in shambles, which is a shame. And yeah, one very important thing that's just occurred to me that I haven't mentioned in any episodes involving my rant about Orpheus, I suppose. Where is the original captain? Where is Nakata? Because they introduced Fideo as the captain, but then in the end he isn't the real captain after all. The real captain has been away for training or like observation abroad. And he just comes in, like, at the halfway point when Orpheus is behind, I believe. Or I think they might be at a stalemate. But anyway, he just comes in, scores like 3 goals with hero shot, just purely on his own. He pulls the entire team together, and yet he's not even included in this game? Excuse me? He was a secret player in the DS game, and you know what, that was a really good way to go about it. But just not including him at all in this game? That is just straight up doing him dirty for all the work he's put in. Like, not only behind the scenes, but also just on the field. And I would like to stop this, thank you very much. That is a heat tackle, but I think we will win this, yes. Level 3 against level 2. But yeah, that's why Orpheus just is kind of a mess in this game. No tactics, not that influential of a team. They don't have the original captain, they only have Fideo, who is still cool, but you can't quite match Nakata's level, you know? And hero shot would have been so cool to see in this game. And that is perfect timing, because the match just ended while I was rambling on about Nakata and Orpheus again. Sorry for filling up my matches with that, but it's just a point that really just grinds my gears, in all honesty. But that is 9-0 in the championship match. Wow, what an underwhelming championship match it was, in hindsight. Even when I arguably handicapped myself by putting Hill Valley and like Kane as defenders. I guess our midfield and offense are just too strong, guys. We've done it. Literally impervious to opponent attacks. Now let's see what we get. 600 points, fair enough, fair enough. And I think while we're on this screen, I might as well point out some more changes that we got. Hawkeye? Fuck. Hawkins leveled up his blue bar, so he is now at level 1 of his blue bar. He has B kick, B body, and the rest C. And I think I've pointed this out before, but he actually gets access to S kick, which is something I will do in due course just for memes. And A guard, which is fine. It suits him. Then I think who else? Someone else leveled up. Oh yeah, Wizengale did. This guy gets access to 3 S stats, being control, speed, and body. And tell you what, Torch, or I guess Beacons technically, gets access to the other 3 stats at S rank. So he gets kick, guard, and catch. So arguably actually Wizengale's division is a bit better, his distribution, because catch, you're not going to use catch as a field player. But I think that was all that was noteworthy, so we are going to move on. We're going to see what spoils this intense victory has netted us. I believe I spotted a purple square in the distance, so we might get a coach. But first of all, we of course get a victory celebration, because we are now officially world champions! Technically speaking, at least, technically speaking. But we can now recruit players from Little Gigant, and we get access to what is the penultimate reward on this map, because we do actually have the girls' team to face in the next episode. Or perhaps I'll go back to Ogre, who knows. I'll surprise you next episode. We get access to another coach, it looks like. And of course, who else could it be but David Evans? Oh, look at him. What a guy. Of course it had to be him. The coach of the Little Gigants, he was going to join after we beat them, obviously. But yeah, looking back on it, This has been a marvelous journey through my favorite season. But I think for the time being, it is time to let Hawkins rest, to not have him run around anymore. We are going to go back to the club room, recruit one more character, then we're going to wrap up this episode. Back in the club room for a victory meal. Look at that table. Look at that. Can I zoom in? Probably not, but I can do this. Okay, that's a bit better. Look at those football-themed rice balls. Isn't that cute? I think that's cute. But yeah, all the lads and the girls, obviously, cannot forget about those, having a good time. We are going to add one more player to their ranks to supplement our team once more. And I think we still have one pending request, and that request is from no one other than Vinny the Trash, returning once more. Thank you very much for your recommendation. You actually made a dual recommendation. You proposed either Mac Roniero, i.e. Robinho, the captain of the Brazilian team, or some guy from Orpheus. Ooh, that's kind of awkward considering what I've been going on, the tantrum I've been going on in this episode. But he suggests Alessandro from Orpheus. And admittedly, I have no clue who that is. But he describes him as a very pale skin and blonde curly hair, so I can only imagine it's this guy. Alessandro. Yeah, that makes sense. That's Alessandro. Okay. Alessandro Rossi, perhaps? Might be. Maybe my Japanese isn't as bad as I thought, or at least my reading. I guess that comes with playing this game too much. You eventually start to pick up on things. But anyway, he looks interesting. I don't know what he has. Earth and fire, while he is a grass element himself, a wood element. Curious, I'm actually intrigued by this guy. Sure, let's pick up Alessandro. Let's see what he can do. And since we have now exploited Supernova and Space Penguin to our heart's content, I think we're going to switch out wits for Alessandro. And then we have some more room for other guys to come in as well. I think we can put in Martinez. I think that should suffice, actually. No, let's put in Rosie. It's been a while since we've used Rosie, hasn't it? So this team is looking as incoherent as ever, which I always love to see, but it's kind of my own doing, in all honesty. Okay, so that's pretty decent. I'm going to put Knight back into the defense, and then let's entertain Turner, Alfredoli. And then I think we have a pretty well-rounded team. I notice we have a bit of a blonde squad going on in the middle here, and then I believe that has been all from me. I think I mentioned very briefly that I wanted to explore the thought of using manuals while I just shamelessly check out this guy. That's a bit of a deeper voice than I expected. And actually, sure, let's just take a quick peek. We have the time. What did we actually get? We got catching manuals, okay. Very handy. Body, guard, okay, very good. Control, yes. We still don't have kick, I presume. I think we got the catch manuals from Dave Evans, probably. And seeing as we only have 2 keepers at this moment, and we have 3 manuals, we might as well, right? S rank on both of our keepers. That is perfect. We have guard. We should put that on one of our defenders. And guys, hear me out here, okay? Hear me out. I think I'm going to push the button, literally. I'm going to put it very close to the mic so you can hear too. There we go. Hawkins, B rank guard. And then we have control. What can we do for control? So, technically speaking, we could buff Whittingill all the way up to S control, which would be quite cool, admittedly. But, hear me, I think we're going to up Whittingill's level by 1, and I think we're going to call it a day there, unless... Speed! Ooh, a speed manual, that's so good. Let's preserve the speed manual for now, I think that should be fine. But with that, I'm going to slowly rotate this man. It's a bit faster than I expected. And I'm going to thank you. If you came up to this point, if you watched all the way up to this point, it has been a pleasure playing through this map, reliving all my best memories from Season 3. But the fun is not over yet, because next episode we have the secret girls team to face. In any case, thank you very much once more, and I will see you all in the next episode. Goodbye.